Russia will veto any draft resolution to refer the Syrian issue to the International Criminal Court. Syrian Arab armed forces attained progress in maintaining control on Aleppo Central Prison after breaking the siege imposed on it by the armed men. Denmark agrees on new allocations for a program called Confronting the Extremism Coming from Syria, following concern over the increasing number of Danes fighting in Syria on the side of the armed men. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our news for today. Russia's permanent representative to the UN, Vitaly Churkin, has said Russia will veto any draft resolution that calls for referring the Syrian question to the International Criminal Court. Churkin has described the French draft resolution in this respect as a sort of propaganda that harms joint efforts to find a political solution to the crisis. Churkin's statement came one day after a similar declaration by Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Gennady Gatilov. It is to be noted that a group of Western countries, particularly France, have been driving for a United Nations Security Council resolution on Syria under the 7th chapter to justify intervention in Syria after the failure of their mercenaries on the ground to deal a blow to the Syrian state despite Western support for them with arms and intelligence information. Syrian Arab Army units have maintained control on Haylan village and Hagop Castle near Aleppo Central Prison and continue to advance successfully in the direction of the areas surrounding the prison after breaking the siege on it, inflicting big losses on the terrorist groups in men and material. A military source said that units of the Syrian Arab Army destroyed a booby-trapped car before it managed to arrive to a military checkpoint in Kafr Najd in Idlib countryside. A military source said that units of the Syrian Arab Army destroyed a factory for making explosives and rockets and killed dozens of terrorists inside it in Ma'arat al-Nu'man. The Syrian Arab Army also destroyed 2 cars full of explosives in the same area. The Syrian Arab Army also targeted a gathering for terrorists in the village of Muzra in Az-Zawiya mountain, killing scores of terrorists. Units of the Syrian Arab Army foiled an infiltration attempt by terrorist groups into a military checkpoint near Enkhil town in Daraa countryside, taking control of a number of buildings after eliminating the terrorists inside. A military source pointed out that the Syrian Arab Army targeted terrorist gatherings in Tal Mtawaq Hill and town of Al-Nuaima in Daraa countryside, as well as Al-Thababita Square in Daraa al-Balad, killing and wounding dozens of them. An explosive device planted by terrorists near Hamid Mahfoud School in the city of Hasaka has blown up, injuring 8 citizens, 2 of them in a serious condition, according to a source at Al-Hasaka National Hospital. In Damascus Countryside, a unit of the Syrian Arab Army discovered a tunnel in Harasta used by terrorists to smuggle weapons and ammunition. The tunnel is 10 meters long. The Syrian Arab Army killed all the terrorists who happened to be hiding inside it. The Danish Municipal Council has agreed on new allocations for a program called Confronting the Extremism Coming from Syria at a cost of £100,000 sterling. The measure has been taken in the wake of reports from Syria about armed Danes fighting there on the side of the extremist terrorist groups, thus raising the Danish authorities' concern over the matter. Denmark is the second European terrorist exporter state after Belgium, whereas Britain comes first, taking into consideration the number of its population. The mayor of Copenhagen for Merger and Employment Affairs, Anna May Ellerslev, estimates the number of Danes in Syria to be approximately 100. Yesterday was the last day of the time assigned for Syrian citizens abroad to register their names at the Syrian embassies on the elections list for the upcoming presidential elections. The date set for them to vote is the 28th of this month. The last day of registration, that is yesterday, witnessed crowds of citizens at the Syrian embassy in Lebanon. It has been coupled by an active move by the Syrians to go back to the homeland to exercise their election right. Welcome back. Iraqi army cleared areas in Al-Fallujah, Babel, Abu Ghraib and Al-Ramadi of terrorist gangs, killing 73 terrorists. Some of them are of Saudi and foreign nationalities. The Iraqi army also captured 21 terrorists. The Libyan retired General Khalifa Hafter called on the government to hand over power to the country's top judges, mounting a challenge against Tripoli as heavy fighting erupted in the capital. General Hafter called for army units to join his campaign to restore order 3 years after the NATO-led invasion. Hafter stressed that the government is unable to control the militias, calling on the top judicial council to form a crisis government to oversee the next elections. The council is independent and is one of the few state bodies respected by normal Libyans who are tired of anarchy and militias. Hafter pointed out that the government and parliament had lost any legitimacy because they were unable to purge the country of extremist groups roaming around unchallenged. Finally, the Russian Foreign Ministry stressed that the new authorities in Kiev are not ready to implement the Geneva Agreement and the roadmap to settle the crisis in Ukraine. The Popular Defense Forces in Slavyansk, east of Ukraine, said that Ukrainian government shelled the city as part of its oppressive campaign against the civilian population east of the country. The local defense groups evacuated a number of workers as a precaution against any attack by the Ukrainian army. With this, we end our news for today. Thank you for watching. For more details about Syria and the region, and to view this bulletin again, you can always visit our website in English, syriaonline.sy. Now to latest business and market news with Karun Kürkcan, but after